Welcome to another ThemeMountain video tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to insert a full screen presentation section. So I already have my section block set up here, so I'm going to go ahead and select the full screen presentation shortcode. When I do, I'm presented with a few options here. First, whether we should use the navigation, and I'm going to leave this selected. This is whether we should have the bullet navigation on the right hand side or not. Then we have the design options here, and we can set two different colors for the bullet navigation. This is so that we can variate it depending on the color of our slide. I'm going to leave it to white and black because it's going to work well with the slides that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this, and then going to go to the first section here. And here we have a bunch of different options. The column width and column offset, this refers to the content that I would add, or the caption. I'm not going to modify this right now because I'll go more in depth into captions in the next tutorial. Then we have the slide image here, whether we should use one from the media library or whether we should just drop it from a URL. I'm going to leave it to use uploaded image, so I'm going to go ahead and select one here. And then we have the option of the background attachment, whether it should be static or fixed. For this one I'm going to leave it to static. And then we have the image size, whether it should be cover or contain. Now if you set it to cover, it will scale to fit the parent container, which means that cropping will occur because obviously it will scale. And I'm going to leave it to cover for now as well. Then we have whether we should use overlay. This is useful if we're adding content or captions. So for now I'm not going to select it since we'll be adding the captions in the next tutorial. And the same with the force content below on mobile. So I'm going to leave that as is for now. Under design options we can select the pagination color that we want. So for this one I'm going to select the second color, which was black. And then we have a few different options here relating to caption alignment and the section background color and the overlay color. I'm just going to leave these settings as is. I will change them in the second section I will be adding. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to add a second section here. And then I'm going to go ahead and upload a second image. So this time I'm using a portrait because this time I'm going to set it to contain. I'm going to go ahead and select that. Again, I'm going to leave the background attachment to static, but this time I'm going to switch the image size to contain instead. Now obviously what this means is that we're going to have spaces on the left and on the right side of the image, and instead what I'm going to do is change the background color of the full screen section. I'm going to go ahead and do that here. I'm just going to go ahead and take the color of the image and I'm going to switch it here. Right, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see what this looks like. And I might want to just hide the page header here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that as well before we have a look. And there we go. So as we can see, the first image scales to fit the parent container. The pagination is set to black. Now if I click it, it will switch to white in the second image, and this image here is contained within the wrapper. So this is pretty straightforward, and the color will switch upon scrolling. So now let's switch the background attachment to fixed and see what that looks like. So I'm going to do that for both here. There we go. Now and we can see what this looks like. So this time as we scroll, we'll notice that the images remain fixed as we scroll down, mimicking a parallax effect, and same thing when we scroll here. And that's pretty much all for the full screen presentation section for adding images. Have a look in the next tutorial on how we add captions, buttons, and icons.